Michael, thank you so much for joining us today, and a happy May Day to you.
It's great to be here.
Good. It's great to have you. And we just came off of an incredible Earth Month, probably our best ever. It was great to have you out on the road. What were your takeaways?
I mean, I think it was a total success around our entire territories. I know Hannah coordinated, continued record number of events across the territories. I participated in a few. I know you did. It's just a lot of fun. Just great to see people giving back and connecting with the company and what we're really all about.
Imagine that you're getting ready, packing your bags. We're going to be heading out to Fiji in just a few short weeks and getting a chance to also take our culture on the road internationally and make a difference. You're looking forward to that?
Oh man, I'm excited. It's one of those things where you don't really realize. I mean, it's a trip where we're doing good, but then every time I tell people I'm going on a service trip and then I say I'm going to Fiji, raises a few eyebrows. So I know I'm personally really excited to go there. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be our most impactful trip, I think, just given what we're doing and how we're doing it. And so that'll be really neat. But then, obviously going to Fiji there's a pretty massive appeal to that as well.
Speaking of the wilderness, speaking of territories out there that really are feeling like they're in the jungle, it's been an incredibly challenging time. Do you have some words of wisdom and comfort for people who have gone through this time, and what does it mean to be coming out of the jungle now?
What we saw in the first quarter this year may have been exacerbated because you had the polar vortex and you had extreme weather conditions that were, 100-year records. Right? The data is sort of phenomenal when you actually dig into it. But you have fundamental supply and demand issues, which are going to continue to drive up prices over time. And so we have to evolve with this view. And we have to evolve with the mindset of our associates in terms of making sure our associates have product belief, making sure they can sit with their aunt or their friends or family and comfortably talk about our product. So product evolution has been front and center here for the past couple months. Reacting, thinking, strategizing around what's happened. And, I think for everybody watching this video, feel confident that evolution that's forthcoming in the next couple of months is going to revolutionize your business, our business, and I think the industry.
I think that one thing that we can be certain about is that volatility is here to stay. We've come through a time when it really shook our world, but I think as a company what's most important is that we understand this has to be an evolution. We have to embrace this, and we have to really maximize the opportunity that volatility can bring. Would you agree?
Our industry, without volatility, we couldn't create as much value. And the volatility allows us to create value for customers that, is what we're here to do, right? We're in the business of providing a product that creates value. If it's not creating value, it's not a product people are going to buy, regardless of your distribution channel, regardless of the company's mission, regardless of all the great factors we have. Our product has to create value, and that volatility we saw in the first quarter, and the volatility that's here to stay going forward over that 3 to 5 year period, that's how we're going to create value. And I'm actually really excited about it. As I said, we're looking in the past at the first quarter that was tough, and I'm looking forward to what's forthcoming and what we're going to be able to do and how we're going to be able to grow and how we're going to be able to create value for people.
So how do we as a company, how do we strategically make sure that we align ourselves to embrace this change, and instead of finding it disruptive, finding it again providing opportunity for growth, opportunity for stability, and opportunity to provide value to our customers and to our associates long term?
Well, that's a great question, because I think as we talk about evolution of our product, the one thing we never want to be is not strategic or hasty in implementing a decision, right? We want to, our commitment to you at the beginning of this year was managing change, communicating, not doing something without doing it right. And so, in the interim, while we're talking about this product evolution that we're not telling you about, but putting in your head, in the interim, things aren't really changing, right? For the next couple months, it's status quo. And I really like to think about it in two different sets of markets, because we have shorter term markets, so markets that are either daily markets or monthly markets or quarterly markets, and that's your New York, your Pennsylvania, and your gas markets. Those markets are coming into an interesting period because you're coming out of the peak and you're coming into a shoulder month. So as you think about longer term products for your customers, those products are going to be fixed and priced over the 12 or 24 month or 36 month term of forward commodities. So they're generally going to be higher than the prevailing utility price. And I think it's just important that associates have really got to focus on showing that value to their customer, because it is a shoulder month, and we all know the reason the price is coming down from utility is because demand's coming down, usage is coming down. So the value for a customer in New York, for example, customers in January paid 22 cents to the utility. If they had locked in at our product last year 11, 12 cents, and I think their products are around that range again today for the next 12 or 24 months, they would have locked in, massive savings, because not only would they have saved 10 cents over that period, but across volume that was 40% higher than the average month. And think about that savings, and you've got to be able to communicate to your customer on the other side that, okay, the utility price today may be 9 versus that 12, but your really point you want to protect against is the peak months when price and quantity move together, when your bill is just materially higher, June, July, August, September, January, February. Your risk is great. So we really want associates to be focused on, that value proposition.
Michael, in a market where the associates see the product that we have to offer long-term is higher than the price to compare, it can be a very difficult sell because of the nature of the warm market. What do you recommend for just an average person to say? How do they frame that discussion so that they can help them to feel good about their decision and the associate can feel good about what they're offering?
First of all, you've got to educate that the short-term offers are promotional offers, and unless you're committed as a consumer to watch it all the time, right, you're not going to benefit over the long term from that. So I think the other thing I'd say is, as you're selling in that market, right, if you take, for example, maybe the utility rate's 8 and our fixed is 10 cents, look back at recent history. So focus that customer back on the 22 cents. Educate them that, not only in that peak was that price high, but your volume was high. So help them understand their bill, their total bill is what they've got to be thinking about, P times Q, price times quantity. And, you're paying a little bit more today, but that's the lower part of the period, and protect against that volatility. And then the second thing to talk about is really long-term what's happening. Right? Long-term, as a business, we're confident rates are going up when you look 3-5 years out. There are so many factors that drive or give us belief and confidence that the natural gas curve in 12 months is going to be higher than it was today, and the natural gas curve in 24 months is going to be higher than it was 12 months ago. There are fundamental factors, whether it's supply side factors where you have EPA regulations that are getting more stringent, you have coal plant retirements, you have nuclear retirements, you have natural gas being shipped offshore. You have all these factors that are driving a fundamental marketplace. You have a strengthening economy, so more gas is being consumed. So it really is, for me, locking in today, and because prices are just getting more expensive in the future.
We're a green company. We source our energy from renewable sources, from wind, from hydro, from solar. So how does that really impact us when we're not producing generic energy? And why does the price of gas really, how does the price of gas really tie in to the production of renewable sourced energy?
If today, roughly across sort of a national average, 30 or 40% of generation capacity is coming from natural gas. So natural gas, the price of natural gas is, as it goes up, the marginal cost of generation for electricity goes up accordingly with that natural gas. And as you look forward, you have coal plants being retired, so natural gas is just going to become a larger and larger part of generation capacity in this country. But think about that solar provider, which obviously doesn't have a variable cost of input. You have a natural gas fired plant, which has the input to generate electricity is natural gas. So that's obviously correlated with the price of electricity. Whereas that solar plant, the cost of generation, the sun doesn't vary, right? It just produces power. But the reality is when the market price goes up, so the market price for electricity driven by natural gas goes up, that price charged by that solar plant is going to go up with it as well. Why would they sell it below market prices? They would take advantage of the marginal market opportunity. So natural gas going up, which is economics 101, is going to drive the price of all electricity, because an electron is an electron is an electron.
So to embrace what we're seeing right now in natural gas, we are going to be offering the Money for Meters promotion in all natural gas markets where they have a fixed price offering. So how does the associate sell that?
I think it's the 2 points we talked about earlier. One is looking back over history and show them the price that they paid through the peak months, because our products are going to be 12-month products. So you're going to protect someone all the way through the next peak period. And so show them what they paid, and then educate them around that in those 5 months, 80 to 90% of their usage happens in those 5 months. So that's when you want to protect yourself. The fact that in a shoulder month, the next 6 months, the utility is higher than us, it's kind of irrelevant, because you're only going to be consuming 10 or 20% of your molecules. So if you think about if you're I don't know, 10 cents higher today, but you're only using 10 to 20% of your load over that period, that's an investment worth making, because you're going to be 10 cents lower than the peak period where you're going to be consuming 80% of your load. So help that customer understand that really what they should be thinking about is the average price paid over the peak period, not in the shoulder months.
Including their usage.
Correct. And then the other point, which I think is important, is, because the argument could be made and say, well, gosh, why don't I stay with the utility for the next 6 months while they have low prices? And you can say, well, sure, that's a good idea potentially, but you have 2 challenges there. If you believe, like we believe and are confident, the natural gas curve is going to go up. If I'm offering a 49-cent rate today, in 6 months when we come out of it, your price is probably going to be higher. So your locked-in price is probably going to go up, because we think the whole curve is going to go up. And then secondly, and I think more importantly, back to the retail energy realities, you can't change overnight. So to benefit from it, you're going to have to switch at some point during the shoulder period to make sure you're locked up for the peak period. But from my perspective, you really just got to focus them on long-term what's happening in gas, the fact that the time takes to switch is a long period of time, and that look at what happened last peak and protect yourself against that next time, because that's where the vast majority of your annual bill comes from.
Michael, once again, want to thank you for joining us today. Always a pleasure to understand our market better so that we can build our businesses and grow this incredible vision. And thank you so much for letting us be a part of that journey.
Thank you, Meredith. I appreciate being here today.